The 67th running of the International Six-Day Enduro Teams World Championship comes down under to Australia. Cessnock is the venue, a coalfields township situated some 40 kilometres northwest of the eastern coastal port of Newcastle. Organisers seem to have chosen the venue wisely indeed. Cessnock is surrounded by forests, vineyards and local mines property, all of which will be used extensively throughout the event. Only 10 kilometres of tar-sealed roads will be traversed in the 6 days. Australia is only the second country outside of Europe to host the Olympics of motorcycle sport. 1973 in America was the first. However, 1992 sees the 6-day marathon being staged in the Southern Hemisphere for the first time ever in its illustrious history. This is an achievement that the Auto Cycle Union of New South Wales can share great pride in with all motorcycle enthusiasts, whether or not you are enduro fans. Some 12 months of physical preparation sees some 370-odd officials from all over Australia and the world come together. The technical checkpoint and Parc Fermé area was established in the heart of the city centre, along with event headquarters. As well as general scrutineering, this is where all major components of the bike are marked with special identification labelling, prior to being held under security until 10 minutes before the competitor's due time out each day. As per international enduro rules, these key parts cannot be changed during the event. When we get to the start, we'll have 3 riders leaving together every 1 minute. The Australians are taking this event very seriously indeed. They competed quite well last year and of course have high aspirations for both trophy and junior teams on home turf. With 375 competitors from 21 nations, the officials throughout the whole event, especially the first few days of checking prior to the start, worked tirelessly to ensure the success of this history-making event. Onlookers and well-wishers lined the route of the street parade in anticipation of the opening ceremony. To the strains of Colonel Bogey, Australia's world-renowned marching koalas get the parade underway. An aspiring young stunt rider takes a frontline seat. So in alphabetical order, the Austrians head the international riders and trophy teams. Belgium, represented by just one rider, who would unfortunately have to withdraw due to injury after the very first day. The Canadians, all club riders. Czechoslovakia are always strong, and of course the Finns, full of young hopefuls. Tall and solo, Frenchman Jean Nerva would only see 2 days before mechanical problems retired him. And Germany suffered very bad luck when trophy team rider Stefan Bernhard retired on the very first section. Great Britain, and a thumbs up from Paul Edmonson. He would do well finishing on goal. The Scots a long way from home and in hotter conditions. Both Greek riders would join the large retirement list in the 250cc class.
The 67th ISDE.
And the New Zealanders, light-hearted as usual in the beginning. But our cousins from across the Tasman were serious enough to receive the award for the most improved country at the end of the 6 days. South Africa, and isn't it good to see them back into international competition? Sweden, the reigning World Cup trophy team. A very formidable team who did quite well in much drier conditions than what they're used to. And defending their junior trophy team, the hosts of the 1994 ISDE USA. A very proud man for Australia, the host country, holding the flag high. Ted Goddard, one of the stalwarts involved in getting this event down under to Australia. So on to day 1, proudly sponsored by Rothbury Estate. 7:30 a.m, Tuesday morning, the 25th of August, 1992. And with Australian flag being raised high, Marco Rossi, bike number 1, starts off. Rather a large crowd of people came down from the central business area to watch these riders get underway on day one of this gruelling event. Some anxious moments for some of the riders as they attempted to kick-start their bike and make it past the 20-metre cold start line without penalty. On to the first cross-country test, set in the beautiful backdrop of Cedar Creek. From Italy, not included in the trophy team this year, will be riding for one of the club teams. Marco Rossi also suffers the same fate, 80cc motocross champion. As you can see, early on in the sections, dust will be playing a very, very important part in this first day and will continue to do so for the next 3 days. Passeri, one of the International Italy Team Trophy riders, taking a little bit of time to get used to the harsh, arid conditions in Australia, as too does Jeff Nielsen from Sweden. Alfie Cox from South Africa. He would be one of only 2 of the South African team trophy riders to finish the event. David Armstrong from Australia showing how to do it in the dust down under. Danny Wers on his 354-stroke thumper, finding the conditions a little bit hard to get used to down under. Kevin Bowden, one of Australia's hopeful team trophy riders. Darryl August of New Zealand, one of the team that does so well and gets the coveted award for the most improved country. Just look at that dust, and it gets a little worse as the day wears on, and no better in days 2 and 3 to come. Of Australia, one of the junior trophy team riders, his team would finish 4th overall in the junior trophies. Last Eddie, Paul Edmonson from Great Britain, showing how it's done. He did quite well, finishing on gold overall and helping the Brits get right up there with a chance. Shane Watts also did quite well, but here he overcooks it and almost takes some officials out in the process. Adrian Nixon from Great Britain finding the dust a little bit hard for him to handle on the first day. Bert von Zitzewitsch from Germany in the 500 four-stroke class, grunting his way through the ruts and dust in Australia. One of Australia's most campaigned ISDE riders, Geoff Ballard. Fabio Farioli, also in the 500 four-stroke class and riding for Team Italy. Big Bill Anderson from Sweden would lead his team on to one of the closest finishes ever in the ISDE. Now we move out to on the stages to give you a bit of a view of the type of terrain that Australia provided for the 67th running of the International 6-Day Enduro. So as the riders wind their way through the outskirts of the Cessnock city area, it's time to have a look at the end of day one results, which sees Italy in a slender lead over Sweden. Great Britain doing well, up in 4th place. In the junior trophy, it's Sweden reversing the order on Italy, with Australia up into 3rd, and last year's winners, the USA, in 4th. Looking at class winners, Giovanni Sala of Italy takes out the overall day one trophy. Day two. So on to the stages of day two, and Rossi, 3rd in yesterday's 80cc category, is really on the pace today, perhaps taking a day to settle down and get his brain into gear for the Australian conditions. Jethri Sylvan from Finland, 3rd yesterday in the 125cc class, but on the very next special test, his bike gave up and the Finns slide down the list. Jimmy Lewis was in the winning junior team of last year. Whether he repeats that performance remains to be seen. Yesterday's runner-up behind Passeri in the 125cc class, Jeff Nilsson from Sweden, reverses the result today. Hess is now riding for the individual results. Germany in all sorts of troubles yesterday. Stefan Bernhard dropped a valve in the Big Husseberg, and then Jörg Eblinghaus crashed head-on, ending the junior team chances. Czechs and Posledny are forced to be reckoned with on the world enduro circuit. The Czechoslovakian team 3rd after yesterday's efforts. Now on to the cross test, special stage on day 2. David Cocking of Australia. Robert Jackson of New Zealand. Just sit back and watch the different techniques used by each of the riders coming into this very low bridge. Wouldn't do to be a very tall rider going through there at too fast a speed. Geoff Nielsen of Sweden on to the special cross test stage. Stefano Passeri from Italy wants personal revenge against Geoff Nielsen. He has an old score to settle because Nielsen made him second in the world. Nielsen, of course, wants to carry on in championship style and takes it right down to the wire, a result not evident until the end of day 6. Edmonson of Great Britain again does well in the 250cc class, the first time he's ridden that class in international competition. Last year he was riding a 125. Rinaldi from Italy does well again in the small bore 4-stroke class on day 2. Giovanni Sala, the overall winner on day 1, again fares well. Just look at his style through this right-hander. Farioli from Italy consolidates the Italian trophy team chances again on day 2 in the big bore 4-stroke class. Now let's have a look at the cross-country test at Rothbury Estate. As you can see, by the end of day 2, a lot of the international competitors, not used to the dusty, dry, arid conditions of Australia, had some reservations about going into day 3. Edmonson, quick and smooth as usual, ruts and dust not phasing him. Giorgio Grasso. Oops, hold on to it. Tomaszek from Poland on the 80cc class, making rough going as he tries to climb up what is almost reminiscent of a one-day trials course. A spectator who thinks he knows how to do it. From the Netherlands, 125cc rider, almost taking out the crowd. Vladimir Bus. Is that encouragement he's receiving from the crowd of onlookers? Obviously not. Stefano Passeri does well. Good style, one-day enduro type. Paul Fairbrother from Great Britain decides that the left-hand side is a little bit easier. But is it? Kevin Bowden from Australia on bike number 17 shows how it's done. Of course, he's used to these conditions in Australia and isn't phased at all. Feet out, steady on the throttle. Some of the riders' techniques leave a little bit to be desired, but getting through in the end. Not quite the way to do it, but nevertheless. Chris Dodd from South Africa, taking the easy route. Of course, he had no option. Bojkuvka from Czechoslovakia could almost walk the bike up with the length of his legs. Patrick Hess of Germany, making a little bit of rough weather of the going up this treacherous mountainous hill. As you can see, halfway through day 2, and the dust is playing a big part. Esavento from Finland showing how to do it on a small bore 4-stroke bike. Feet up, very reminiscent of one-day trials riding. Paul Edmonson, if you want to see body language, just watch the way he lifts this front wheel up to make easy going of the rough conditions. Not only that, very shortly you'll see he does a victory wheel stand up the hill. On to the cross-country test on day 2. Rinaldi Nicolai from Italy showing how it's done in the riverbed. Small amounts of water, but also very dusty at the beginning and end of this section. Rinaldi from Italy, feet up, not wanting to get them too wet. Sven-Erik Jonsson from Sweden. And now for a slow motion look at the body language necessary to ride a bike fast through these dry yet also soft conditions. So on the evening of day 2, a lot of the riders finding the dusty, dry conditions here in Australia a little bit hard to contend with. Some of the riders even running short of time and will have to use the 10-minute period for maintenance in the morning.
Ready? Ready.
Of course, let's remember that all maintenance on these bikes, tyre changing, etc., by international rules and standards, is required to be done by the riders themselves. Heinz Kinnegartner from Austria received 60 points penalty for actually doing a television interview, and of course is now running out of time. The price you pay for getting your face on TV. The results at the end of day 2 sees Italy extend their lead on Sweden, Czechoslovakia consolidating in 3rd and the USA in 4th. Junior trophy sees Sweden still in front of Czechoslovakia, Australia in 3rd and the USA in 4th. Individual class winners, Rossi in the 80s, Nilsson in the 125, Edmonson 250, Sala in the 500 and Rinaldi in the 354 stroke. On to day 3, the Department of Sport and Recreation and Racing brings you all the action. From South Africa, 4 times winner of the Roof of Africa Rally. The South Africans received a tremendous reception at the opening ceremony. The old man of the German trophy squad, Armin Sponsel. Virtually their team has been eliminated on the very first day after travelling thousands of kilometres down under to Australia. Peter Buckley, keeping the Aussie hopes high. Paul Edmonson from Great Britain, of course his first international ride on the 250. He's enjoying himself even though the conditions are still dusty. Shearer of Australia revelling in the dry conditions, but most of the Europeans by the end of day 3 were praying for rain. It's not quite the way that the Italian team has told you to do it. German holes, very friendly, stopping to assist if necessary. Cross-country test on the 3rd day proved a little bit too much for some of the riders, as can be seen here. Esavento trying to get it right around the outside of it, losing the front end. Could have been very nasty, but Nikolai actually kept the bike going, had the presence of mind not to let go of the handlebars. Ouch. Picture tells a story. Giorgio Grasso thinking that speed was the way to attack it. Bit disorientated, I'm afraid. And why wouldn't you be? Just just look at Edmonson take it on. So at the end of day 3, after 3 tiresome days out on the track, with dry, dusty conditions, these riders must change the tyres and tubes by themselves. They are allowed to be past spanners, and because of safety reasons, they can also be assisted in refuelling the bike, changing the gearbox oil, and receive assistance in actually bleeding the brakes. But all else must be done by themselves. Even repairs to the clutch. The location of this work area has allowed spectators to come down in abundance in the morning, at lunchtime and in the evening to see the riders prepare themselves for competition on the following day. So at the end of day 3, it sees Sweden reverse the situation, now with a 7.6 point lead over Italy. Junior trophy remains the same. Joachim Heidenhall on the 250 class from Sweden, the eventual overall day winner. Day 4, proudly brought to you by Yamaha Australia. Dusty conditions were still very prevalent in the early stages of day 4. However, come around lunchtime and the heavens opened and answered the prayers of all European riders. Peter Buckley from Australia receiving a lot of encouragement out on the track. Day 4 sees slightly different conditions to the previous 3 days. A lot more rocks, but Paul Edmonson, unperturbed. A safety checkpoint for obvious reasons. The course designers taking obvious safety precautions in this section of the track. Lunchtime. A little bit wetter conditions now as rain starts to drizzle down, but the terrain gets no smoother. Randy Hawkins from the USA does well. So too does the cameraman to evade those rocks. Van Dijk from the Netherlands won't see conditions like this in 1993 as Holland hosts next year's ISDE. The Assen terrain should be a lot more sandy than the conditions experienced here. Carl Tiley from Great Britain. Using his legs as training wheels through the ruts up this treacherous terrain. Stephen Bird from New Zealand takes the award for the largest pair of bark busters seen in the 92 ISDE. Four-stroke power, an obvious advantage up this steep incline. On to the cross-country test on the fourth day. Just sit back and look in slow motion at the differing styles of body language used to encounter this rather fast and, in some cases, treacherous, dried-up creek bed. Delicate balance of strength and looseness in your body language is required to successfully negotiate this rather fast stretch of terrain. Fabio Farioli from Italy shows rather a loose style, but also very effective. And now for the Bellbird special stage, nicknamed the Super Bowl, for obvious reasons, allowing great vantage points for all spectators. Let's take the time to have a look at some of the Aussies do battle. Mark Avard, 250cc class. David Armstrong, also a 250cc rider. And Peter Buckley of Australia, one of the young hopefuls. John McKee of New Zealand. Not quite sure of his footing, leg out all the way around. Tim Shearer, 354-stroke rider. He prefers the feet up technique. Young Jason Cater of Australia on a 500cc two-stroke. Young Jason did quite well. Australian team veteran Geoff Ballard on bike number 135. Nothing but praise from Geoff about the organisation and the route of the course over the 6-day enduro. Day 4 results sees Czechoslovakia slip out of contention. Sweden increases its lead over Italy. In the junior trophy team, the USA overtakes Australia for third place, but no change for first and second. The overall day winner, Joachim Heidenhaal again in the 250 class. Day 5 brought to you courtesy of the Rothbury Estate. Out on the stages for Day 5, and conditions a little bit wetter than what the previous 4 days have been. With torrential overnight downpours, it's dampened the talcum powder conditions of dust seen previously. Kevin Bowden from Australia receiving heaps of encouragement from all fans. Steady as she goes down through this rather hazardous section of the course for Nilsson from Sweden. Alfie Cox on bike number 43 from South Africa. Battles on regardless, preferring to leave the politics at home. And Joel Mitson from Great Britain showing all the style and dexterity of a one-day trials rider. So with conditions much more suited to the European riders, out on the stages of Day 5. Reiter of Austria still doing well. So too is Eriksson from Sweden. Rodney Jenner of Australia. Hazards high and low as seen in the background with a tree dropping over the course. On to the award-winning Rothbury Estate for the cross test of Day 5. Such a commendable job being done by Chris Cater in course designing this section. Conditions not quite as dry as on Day 1, allowing riders, especially the Europeans, to set a rhythm and pace that will be very hard to beat. It's almost hard to believe that a course of such calibre can actually be set on a vineyard property in the Hunter Valley. From Sweden trying to increase the lead that they've gained over the Italians. Fast Eddie Edmonson, always stylish. And reveling in the slightly damper conditions. Encouragement of all kinds. Italian trophy team rider Mario Rinaldi trying to make up some of that lost ground to Sweden. Rinaldi likewise trying his hardest for the Italian team. Jimmy Eriksson from Sweden also trying hard to extend the lead that they have over Italy on day 5. Rodney Smith from the US of A trying his hardest, but now going for class results with the loss of Jonathan King on day 3. Giovanni Sala of Italy, the winner of day 1, also wins on day 5. This will prove to be very, very valuable for the Italian team as they get to within 8 points of the Swedish team going into day 6. Fabio Farioli almost loses it, trying hard as well. Anderson from Sweden trying his hardest not to allow the Italians to get too close. Well, with 5 down and 1 to go, it's time to make final preparations for the last day of this grueling event. Sweden not all that far in front of Italy. The final motocross will be very important. Junior teams with a larger gap, but it sees Czechoslovakia move up into 2nd place with the USA 3rd and Australia 4th. Overall winner on day 5 was Giovanni Sala from Italy in the 500 two-stroke class. Fraser Motorcycles proud to bring you all the action from day 6. Well, it was a bit of a nightmare and a headache for organisers, unfortunately, with all the rain that occurred overnight on day 4 and throughout day 5, providing some very difficult situations for riders coming through the old tunnel that was used for coal mining transportation purposes. Unfortunately, with riders being stuck inside the viaduct, Organisers had to cancel the first and second stages on the way to the final motocross section. Some 20-odd riders were actually bogged in there for a period of about 2 hours. What a fantastic venue, Mulberry, Fraser Motorcycles International Final Motocross Leg. Just have a look at that course. Well prepared and put together by a strong team of members from the Toowoomba Motorcycle Club. The 125cc class, and it all comes down to the wire. Jeff Nilsson from Sweden was teamed up against Stefano Passeri from Italy. With only 8 seconds difference, Passeri takes the lead early in the race. Nilsson trying his hardest to peg back those valuable seconds. Remember, Sweden only has 8 seconds lead over Italy. So with his hand held high in the air, Stefano Passeri takes first blood for Italy. On to the 350cc four-stroke class, and Rinaldi and Nicolai from Italy are up against Jimmy Eriksson from Sweden. 2 against 1 hardly seems fair. Taking the early lead, Rinaldi puts first blood down again for Italy. He's followed closely by teammate Nicolai. It will really need some great riding from Eriksson to actually get up and overtake the 2 Italians in front. But wait, what's this? Up on the inside, he takes first place. In the dying stages with 1 lap to go, Eriksson heads the field. So pegging back some of that lost ground, Eriksson from Sweden ahead of Rinaldi from Italy and Nicolai in 3rd place. And on to the all-important 500 sees Sven-Erik Jonsson from Sweden up against Giovanni Sala from Italy. The result of this race could well decide the trophy championship. Up on the outside in turn 2, and it's Sala that tries and noses in to get an early lead in the race. Settling for 3rd at this stage. But battling over the 4 laps, and Sala eventually takes the lead, much to the delight of the Italian supporters. So greeting the checkered flag first, it's Sala from Italy. That basically puts the last nail in the coffin of the Swedish chances.
128, Bert von Zitzevich from Germany. He's taken it through the Super Bowl, the first time.
And it's Bert von Zitzevich from Germany who takes the early lead in the 500 four-stroke class. But the real action is with 141 Bill Anderson from Sweden and 133 Fabio Farioli from Italy. Anderson takes an early lead over Farioli. But to the delight of the Italian supporters and remaining team members, Farioli eventually takes the lead back from Anderson. The Italians on top of the hill there, realising that this really does hammer the last nail into the coffin of the Swedish efforts. Paolo Felagara from Italy really rubs salt into the wounds of the Swedish efforts. He was up against Joachim Heidenhall and Dick Wixel from Sweden. He takes an early lead in the race and doesn't relinquish it. Plenty of action happening back in the pack, very dusty conditions. So here he comes to greet the checkered flag. Paolo Felagara from Italy in first place, but 2 Aussies that did very well, finishing in 2nd and 3rd respectively, was David Armstrong and Shane Watts. So as the riders make their way back to the pits, both of them holding their flags high of the countries that they've been riding for. Felagara in first place, And of course, let's not forget Joachim Heidenhall from Sweden, their team eventually finishing second. But the day belonged to the Italians. Team World Championship trophy winners Italy, second place Sweden, third place Spain, and the Netherlands finishing in fourth. The junior trophy this year goes to Sweden, second place to Czechoslovakia, last year's winners the USA in third, and Australia a great effort in fourth. The overall individual winner for the 6 days enduro was Giovanni Sala from Italy. This brings to a close the running of the 1992 International 6-Day Enduro down under in Australia. 1993 it will be held in Assen, Holland, and in 1994 it goes to Tulsa in the US of A. We'll see you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Newcastle and the Hunter Valley's own Marching Koalas. Membership has remained at 150, including musicians, flags, banner and banners. The average age of the members of the Marching Koalas is 14 years. It's made up of 73% of girls and 27% of boys. Our official guests, or just a part of our official guests, we would like you to make them very welcome too. The Mayor of Cessnock, Marie Callaghan. The President of the Federation Internationale Motorcyclists, Joseph Basson. The General Manager of the Cessnock City Council, Colin Keys. And our very own Karen Pryor with the keys to the city in the form of a parchment. Would you please welcome our official guests? The Marching Koalas is still getting into position, a little bit of play. Peter, when you have a look at the 22 countries that are going to compete here, Czechoslovakia, the USA, Germany, the European countries are going to be very, very hard to toss here in the next 6 days. Is there one competitor in the 350cc class? Would you please give a big welcome to Canada? Czechoslovakia. In the 125cc class, we have Fury Sylvan, a strong newcomer to this particular class, from 4 to 13 years of age, rode in trials, and from 13 to 18 years old, rode in motocross events, and now concentrates on enduros. The world. And how about a big hand for their sole competitor, Sean Nerva? I think he's going to break a few hearts while he's here in Cessnock. John competes in the over 500cc category. John, to you, all the very best and welcome to the Hunter Valley. Would you please make them welcome Germany? Stephen Bernhard is also a team member, 89 in the ISDE, second in the junior trophy, and 91 in Czechoslovakia ISDE, 50 in the 350 4S class. Patrick Hess is also a team member. And now, would you please welcome from the old dark, Great Britain. They certainly are, and they have one of the most popular of all enduro riders amongst their category. Very spectacular everywhere, they say, especially if he sees the television camera. A big welcome for Paul Edmonson. Paul has won 6 British Championship titles, 1 World Championship, one runner-up in the World Championship, and three international 6-day enduro class winners. He's a class act, Paul Edmonson.
In 1985, he's a British expert champion. He's 86 and 91 British four-stroke champion.
And of course, the big contingent from right throughout the British Isles, the Scottish flag. Hey, welcome to Cessnock in the Hunter Valley. And now, how about a big hand for Greece? And Mark Damon. Welcome to Hungary. Italy. Giulio Pellegrinelli. Current 500cc class world enduro champion. He and Sala have been vying for the lead in the World Championship this season. Coming into the stadium now, and how about a big welcome from there, Mexico. The Netherlands. From New Zealand, of course, Manly had the odd goal or two that are playing on their side too. A big welcome for New Zealand. They've got a lot of big contingent here too, Peter. 27 riders will be competing from New Zealand. Maybe the young man up the front on the crutches, so he mightn't take too much part on the bike, but I'm sure he's going to be an integral part. Poland just coming in front of the grandstand now. The two competitors in the 80cc class, Andres Tomasek and Rysard Augustin for the 80cc. Big welcome to Poland. Chris Dodd, Alfie Cox, CD Dreyer and PJ Trollope, 250cc riders from South Africa. How about you thank the people of Spain? I think they've got 20 riders here for the next 6 days, and I'm sure they're going to be highly competitive as well. For Sweden!
We have Dick Wixell. He's a very strong ISDE rider. Twice European Enduro champion.
Switzerland! Danny Wers, the 500cc, Colin Grast, Christoph Elliger and Urs Huber. From Switzerland! Would you please welcome Team USA?
It's a fancy table.
Great to see them here, and who can forget, or who would forget, an unbelievable dream team, the basketball team that went to Barcelona. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan and the rest.
Yeah, certainly was.
And the Olympians of the Enduro set, Team USA, a big welcome to you.
I don't think I've seen this many at a function. Well, there's never been a function like this here anyway.
Be one hell of a barbecue.
Oh, one ever, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, a big welcome for the Cessnock City Band. Cessnock Police and Youth Club. Brass Band. National Field, your very own Australia.
Not hard still is a crowd favourite.
World circuit. Ted competed in the 70s, and he's the main man behind Australia getting into six-day enduros way back then. He's had a lot of help since, because in this big team of 120 riders and officials, Cessnock's very own Phil Lovett. Where are you, Uncle Phil? He reckons he needs about 20 operations on his legs, but that'll have to wait until after the enduro. Great to see the green and gold.
Fantastic, mate. It's a lovely Indian track, isn't it?
Certainly does. The Aussie flag, the boxing kangaroo. And that is some team.
That's a great team.
Make a magnificent sign, all the teams, and as Australia do come into position, ladies and gentlemen, would you please give a very big welcome to all the competitors and officials of the International Six-Day Enduro. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for the official opening ceremony of this, the International Six-Day Enduro.
We're coming here for one of the most important motorcycle events, the International 6 Days. I hope you will enjoy it. Let's make a real festivity of it, a real sports event, and a safe one. I wish you all of success, especially the organizers who prepared this event for the motorcycle world. Thank you for welcoming us so, and I hope to see you again in the near future.
Mr. Joseph Ballard, the President of the FIM.
We have in Cessnock an extremely friendly, a very Australian and totally professional attitude, and our thanks go to the entire community.
Cessnock has already delivered the first gold medal performance of the 67th ISDE.
And Stephen Hunter broke 2 Australian long-distance records, 17 kilometres on one wheel, the equivalent of 88 laps of the Cessnock trotting track. The wheel stand longer in time than anyone in Australia, 2 hours 36 minutes. Stephen has performed wheel stand demonstrations at Eastern Creek, including the Grand Prix, plus many other shows and races right throughout Australia. And along Stephen Curvin, I should say, and Stephen Hunter broke 2 Australian long-distance records, 17 kilometres on one wheel, the equivalent of 88 laps of the Cessnock trotting track. The wheel stand longer in time than anyone in Australia, 2 hours 36 minutes. Stephen has performed wheel stand demonstrations at Eastern Creek, including the Grand Prix, plus many other shows and races right throughout Australia. Stephen Turner and Stephen Hunter. Give them a big hand as they strut their stuff here on the Cessnock Sports Ground. Now kids, don't go and get your dad's 900 Kawasaki at the garage and try this. Give them a big welcome. shot too. Look at that, so simple. Now, demonstration number 1 is bending. Riders complete the course without touching markers and foot touching the ground, except when cycling marker 9 or running into the bloke in front of you.
Right.
He's probably saying, come on, what is that? 9 witches' hats are placed 4 metres apart in 2 rows, 10 metres between rows. 2 groups of 6 riders in line start from the right of the first marker, passing marker 1 on their left, marker 2 on their right, and so on. They circle marker 9 and continue back over the course, keeping marker 8 on their right, and finish by circling marker 1 and line up ready for demonstration number 2. Now, repeat that. The northern end of the Cessnock Sports Ground, could you please give a big welcome to the Balabar dancers. Costumes.
Oh, I certainly have.
Big family. from the Cessnock district, putting on a magnificent display for you this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.